Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अस्तोत्र divine grace ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अस्तोत्र divine grace भक्ति सिद्धांत श्री महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोर धाम की वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories assembly glories. All glories to assembly glories. All glories to the assembly glories. All glories to Guru and Gaurang.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Monday, August 25th, 2025. Today we're starting with 4:21:13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll begin with 4:21:13. Ekadasin Mahasatra Dikshatatra Divakasam Samajo Brahmar Sinam Cha Vajar Sinam Cha Satama. Translation. Once upon a time, King Prithu initiated the performance of a very great sacrifice in which great saintly sages, brahmanas, demigods from higher planetary systems, and great saintly kings known as Rajarshis all assembled together. Purport. In this verse, the most significant point is that although King Prithu's residential quarters were in India, between the rivers Ganges and Yamuna, the demigods also participated in the great sacrifice he performed. This indicates that formerly the demigods used to come to this planet. Similarly, great personalities like Arjuna, Yudhisthira, and many others used to visit higher planetary systems. Thus there was interplanetary communication via suitable airplanes and space vehicles. Guru Maharaj and others, would you like to comment here?
Nothing special from my side.
Mahesh Pandit-Prabhu, are you available to read the next?
Oh, yeah. Text 14. Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. Tasmin arhastu sarveshu swachinteshu yatharhatah uttitah sad so madhye taranam undraniva. In that great assembly, Maharaj Prithu first of all worshipped all the respectable visitors according to their respective position. After this, he stood up in the midst of the assembly, and it appeared that the full moon had risen among the stars. According to Vedic system, the reception of great exalted personalities is arranged by Prithu Maharaj in that great sacrificial arena is very important. The first procedure is in receiving guests is to wash their feet, and it is learned from Vedic literature that one time when Maharaj Yudhishthira performed a Rajasuya Yagna, Krishna took charge of washing the feet of visitors. Similarly, Maharaj Prithu also arranged for the proper reception of demigods and saintly sages, Brahmana, and the great kings. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumidam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shune Paschaitsari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gopurvatunda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in this verse, Maharaj Prithu did the thing that most pious people or in most pious assembly would do. So he worshipped all the respectable visitors according to their respective positions. And it's like giving the honor to people or according to their position. And it's very important. And that's how one should start their assembly from that point on. And example is also given in Rajeshwari Yagna. Even Lord Shri Krishna took up the work of washing the feet of all the great Vaishnavas and Rishis and demigods. So it exemplify how important it is to give respect to great Rishis and Brahmanas and great Vaishnavas. And that is etiquette. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, please.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tatati Shapadanti Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shanti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtati Shatarane Vanchakolpatarupyascha Kripasundobhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashali Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Here, Architeshu, through Architeshu, the Devatas, the great sages and so on were all worshipable. And Yathartha, King Prithu, worshipped them according to their respective positions. To Architeshu, although Pandita Samadarshana, a self-realized person sees all living beings to be equal, he also knows what Mahesh Pandit Prabhu called proper etiquette, how to treat each person according to his position. We saw that when Krishna entered Hastinapur, I believe it was, Hastinapur, perhaps Dwarka, he greeted everyone according to their position, according to his relationship with them. Some he embraced, some he shook hands, some he gave a nod of the head. Not that everyone was treated the same way. So there's, in greeting great personalities, the most important thing is humility and respect. But then there's also precedence. Who's senior? Who's a rishi? Who's a demigod? Who's in which position? In international affairs and in diplomacy, when there's a meeting, then the respected guests are acknowledged according to their position. If the queen or the king is present, then it's not that first you glorify others and then welcome the queen. The king or the queen is respected first, then the ministers, then secretaries, then the chairman of the meeting, and so on. So one is expected to know these things. In Britain, there's a book, Debrett's Correct Form, which deals with all of these matters, questions of precedence, questions of titles, how do you address a duchess, how do you address a member of parliament, and so on. So so that everyone is welcomed accordingly. And still, everyone feels welcomed because the welcome is sincere, the welcome is humble. Everyone is offered respect, no one is left out. So this is part of this, yes, etiquette. And one is expected to know etiquette. Therefore, in our Vyas Puja tributes book, the devotees are listed. First, the sannyasis. Then, and that also in order of seniority. Most senior sannyasi first, and so on. And then the other devotees. And again, from the most senior to the most junior. This Prabhupada, we took this order from Srila Prabhupada. There was a big Vyas Puja celebration in New Vrindavan. Prabhupada gave lectures also, Bhagavatam, Dharma discourses. And for the Vyas Puja, Prabhupada himself gave the precedence. Sannyasis first, then others, in accordance with seniority. And then who's senior? Even among the sannyasis, it's those who received Diksha first, those who were initiated first, although they may have been someone else may have received sannyas first, sannyas earlier, but the person who received first initiation or second initiation would be first and down the line. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Praveen Prabhu writes, even Bhishma Dev greeted everyone accordingly, even in his restricted situation.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
For our next text, Madhu Pati Prabhu, are you available? We just read text 14, now we're on 15.
Which chapter is it?
It's in chapter 21 of Canto 4.
Yeah, and the 4. 1 minute. Okay. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Gurudas Jayādvaita Swami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Parsatade Shataram. Ramsu Pinayata Bhujo Gaurak Tanjaru Nekshanaha Sunasa Sumukha Saumya Pinam Sa Sudvija Smita. King Prithu's body was tall and sturdy, and his complexion was fair. His arms were full and broad, and his eyes as bright as the rising sun. His nose was straight, his face very beautiful, and his personality grave. His teeth were set beautifully, in his smiling face. In his smiling face. Among the four social orders, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, the Kshatriyas, both men and women, are generally very beautiful. As will be apparent from the following verses, it is to be concluded that not only were Maharaj Prithu's bodily features attractive, as described here, but he had specific all auspicious signs in his bodily construction. As it is said, the face is the index of the mind. One's mental constitution is exhibited by his facial features. The bodily features of a particular person are exhibited in accordance with his past deeds. For according to one's past deeds, his next bodily features, whether in human society, animal society, or demigod society, are determined. This is proof of the transmigration of the soul through different types of bodies. Om Jnanatiminandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshulmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, King Prithu, when he arrives back to his kingdom, right? Vidura is requesting Maitreya Muni to hear more about Prithu's activities. And Maitreya Muni starts describing Prithu's rule, bodily features, and speech. Especially in this verse, his bodily features are described. That how his body was tall and sturdy, and his complexion was fair, his arms were full and broad, and his eyes as bright as a rising sun. His nose was straight, his face very beautiful, and his personality grave. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that among the four social orders, the Kshatriyas, both men and women, are very beautiful. Especially Maharaj Prithu, since his Shakti Avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he had specific all auspicious signs in his bodily construction. Right. So, through his facial features, since face is the index of the mind, his mental constitution could be determined. Right. So, bodily features, beauty is dependent on also his past deeds. Right. Whether in human society, animal society, demigod society. Right. The past deeds determines a person's bodily features, current bodily features. Right. Since Srila Prabhupada mentions, this is the proof of the transmigration of soul. That the past deeds determine somebody being beautiful, somebody being not so beautiful, fair complexion, very dark complexion. But the real bodily luster comes from devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Person performing unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Lord, his face lights up just by his service to the Supreme Lord. just by his absorption in the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I had.
Even in this present age, if somebody serves the Supreme Lord in the temple, they automatically become so beautiful. You can see
Yeah.
that.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. Vyastev is so fierce looking or ugly looking that he who was the maid servants of Dhritarashtra, not Dhritarashtra, sorry,
Ambika and Ambalika.
Ambalika were so one closed her eyes, the other turned pale, and so we got Dhritarashtra and Pandu, because he was so terrible looking, and yet he's the greatest sage. So it's not always invariable. It's not invariable, but still, as a principle, this is there, that one receives one's body according to one's past deeds, and especially according to one's past pious or sinful, according to one's past pious or sinful credit, and also according to one's desires. Prabhupada, this was illustrated also in the incident where Krishna went to see Jarasandha along with Bhima and Arjuna. They went in the guise of brahmanas, begging to beg some charity from the king. And the king, seeing them, said, wait a second, they're not brahmanas. Because he could see their strong, powerful constitution. And of course, they had marks of carrying bows on their shoulders, so that was a dead giveaway. But, and they had grave voices. So these were signs of Kshatriyas. The person, the Jarasandha could see right away. These are not Brahmins, they're Kshatriyas. So, in general, this principle holds. One can see, tell so much about a person by the face, by the bodily constitution. Here, Prabhupada says that this is proof of reincarnation. I don't exactly understand how it proves reincarnation, but it explains things. It has explained it. It shows that the principle of reincarnation, or the teaching of reincarnation, explains things. Otherwise, how do we explain why one person is born beautiful, one person is born ugly? You say, well, genetics, or genetics and the circumstances surrounding birth. But first of all, that in itself may not explain everything, because sometimes the parents are very good looking and the child is not good looking. But apart from that, why is one person born in this family, another person in that family? One person good looking, another person ugly looking. One person with these features, one person with those features. What's the reason? We have to say, well, it's just chance, or else we say it's genetics and the circumstances surrounding birth. But here, no, it's on account of one's previous activities. Now we have a reasonable explanation why one person is born in a royal house, one is born in the house of a beggar. There's some, there's cause and effect at work, as it always is. So the teaching of reincarnation is found in Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere, explains these things. And it's interesting, we sort of want to pretend that it's not there in modern society. We pretend that, no, everyone is equal, everyone is the same, everything is somehow or other, yes, equal. Perhaps we're trying for some sort of spiritual vision on the material platform. No, what is that? All men are created equal. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Balderdash, they're not. How are men created equal? First of all men are created equal, and women we're not even going to mention. But all men are not created equal. Thomas Jefferson was born to aristocracy and had a sterling education, and other men were his slaves. Apart from the circumstance that, what do you say, that society allowed slavery and so on. All right, but they allowed slavery. Why wasn't Thomas Jefferson born the slave, and the person born a slave born as Thomas Jefferson? All men were not created equal. In so many ways, Jayādvaita Swami was not created equal to Muhammad Ali. Don't put me in the ring. So all creatures, all living entities are born in various circumstances and with various features according to their past deeds. And even though we deny this by saying that we believe in equality and so on, what's the word? Sort of intuitively or automatically recognize the differences. We recognize the differences. Yes. Then the Kshatriyas are, and sometimes we see this. I remember being in Vrindavan one time, and there was a South Indian Brahmin who was attending the arti with great pleasure, actually. Although he was, a Paka South Indian Brahmin, he was appreciating practically unlimitedly the Gaudiya Sampradaya and Srila Prabhupada's contribution in having brought Krishna consciousness. He was just so appreciative. But the point is, he was just from his bodily features, he was just beautiful. The fair complexion and just glowing, and you could see that he was such a pious person. One time on Padayatra, we went to visit the temple of the sun god. Where was that? North Orissa, near Kurukshetra. Day's walk from Kurukshetra. There's a temple of, not Konark. Konark is a sun temple, but it's not in use. But there's one sun temple, maybe only one or two in India, where there's active puja. I've forgotten now the name of the place. And we were meant to go to Kurukshetra that day, or yes, that day or the next day. But the pujari, longtime pujari there, had expired. And so it wasn't a suitable day to go. We stayed an extra day at the Temple of the Sun. And I remember the pujari there was sunny. He had a big round face and he was glowing and such a friendly, warm, friendly disposition. Just from his very features, you could, he was the perfect pujari for the sun god. So, and we see even among the devotees in our Hare Krishna movement, there are some whose bodily features are just outstanding. You can see that they're natural leaders. And while I'm thinking of it, there are devotees who you can see they're managers just by the way they walk, by the way they're, by their nature. You could see this person is a person and a take charge person, and someone else you see this person's a scholar. Just by looking at them, practically speaking. So these features are there, and they can't be just washed away on the false notion. And again, we see this in so many places in the modern world, that we want to just make everyone equal. Because we have an intuitive understanding of the equality of all, at least human beings. But we don't get that equality is on the spiritual platform. Pandita Samadarshana, the self-realized person, to say nothing of human beings, sees no difference between a Brahmin and a dog eater, and an elephant and a cow. Why only the human beings, all living beings? But then, as in the previous verse, we deal with people differently according to their positions. We don't say, here's a Brahmin, so I'll wash his feet, and here's a dog, I'll wash his feet. We respect even the ant. The ant also has a right to live. The ant also has a right to eat. In Vedic culture, if there's a lizard in your house, even the lizard should be fed. But that doesn't mean we treat the lizard like the king. On account of its previous karma, the lizard has gotten the lizard's body, the king has gotten the king's body. And the king has to be treated like the king. And by the bodily features, even, we may see that this person is, although he's although this or that, sometimes according to their accomplishments, we'll see this person, although he's in a Kshatriya family, he has the qualities of a Brahmin. That we'll see. Or sometimes we'll see, although he's in such and such family, he has the bodily features of a Brahmin or Kshatriya. He has the, by reading the face, you can see this person. Who was that? Karna. The Duryodhana, to his credit, could recognize that this Karna, he's not a Shudra. Just look at him and look at what he can do. Look at his skill, look at his prowess. So he could judge appropriately. So a person who understands things well can see that just look at this person. By his face, you can see what intelligence is there or what determination is there. or you could see, I remember, oh my goodness, I had to buy an airline ticket one time in Bombay, and it was last minute, and the place I was dealing with wasn't very good. And so Bhima Prabhu recommended a travel agent that they were using at the Juhu temple. And of course, he promised me one price, but then, at the last minute, there was this change, that change. And then the price was, hugely more. And there was nothing I could do about it last minute. And it had to be cash. So he came to the temple to collect the cash, the travel agent. And just seeing the cash, his face lit up. It was like, seeing your long-lost child after 40 years, the warmth in his heart when he saw the money. So, of course, some of this is acquired by culture, but this is the nature of a Vaishya. Seeing money warms his heart. He has such affection for money, and money has affection for him. Money will find the Vaishya also. So there's differences, and these among human beings, there's differences among different species of life. And therefore the Varnashram system divides accordingly. Okay, you do this work, you do this work, you do this work. This is your duty, this is your duty. And the person who knows how to read things will see. And just as it's mentioned, the guru in the Gurukul, he sees this boy is good for this boy is good for that. And part of it is just by seeing the face. You can see, this boy likes to do this boy is fit for that. So these things are explained very nicely by the Punarjanma, by reincarnation. And it should be recognized, not just brushed under the rug on the plea that everyone is equal, but should be seen. And then acknowledged and implemented, that this person should be doing this person should be doing that. But it shouldn't be misused. And one should know that if you see, and are instructed, Yudhishthira, therefore, if you see the qualities of a Brahmin in a person born in a Kshatriya or Shudra family, he's a Brahmin. And if you see the Shudra qualities in a person born in a Brahminical family, he's a Shudra. Because birth counts, but birth isn't everything. Sometimes we see we can see, this person is born in a such and such family, he may be suitable for this. But then by seeing the face, we see, no, he's not. He's born in a Brahmin family, but his face shows that he's distracted, he can't concentrate. You see within a few minutes, he's not sharp. So then this is not the Brahminical temperament. And some other boy born in a lesser family, see, he's sharp, he's quick, he listens, he understands. By his face, you can see he's intelligent. So the person with experience and understanding can discriminate and then treat everybody appropriately. This person is a demigod, this person is a Rajarshi. He knows how to treat everyone with respect, but not by falsely treating everybody as if everybody were the same. That makes no sense. It makes sense spiritually, we treat everyone the same. But materially, we recognize the difference between a tiger and a cow, between an animal and a human being. between a Brahmin and a Shudra. So both things, material difference, and then still more important, spiritual oneness. Striya Shudra Tata Vaisha Tepi Yanti Paramit. Krishna says, doesn't matter, whatever family they were born in, Papa Yoni, sinful family. And if they take to Krishna consciousness seriously and sincerely, Tepi Yanti Paramit, they can all go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Pandit Prabhu, are you available to take over hosting?
There's some, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, Pandit Prabhu, you're muted right now. We can't hear you because you're muted.
Sure, I'll take over. Thanks.
Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so Saraswati Mata had a hands up before. Maybe you want to ask a question?
Yes, pranams Param Pujya Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Well, I did type it in. One of my questions was that there are these professionals that claim to be expert face readers, and that just simply by looking at your face they can predict like your past, present and future. So my question is that just all a farce?
In principle, it's possible. Another example was when Shukadeva Goswami entered the assembly surrounding Maharaj Parikshit at the on the bank of the Jamuna. No, Naimisharanyas, the sages later. But Shukadeva Goswami enters the assembly who are there with Parikshit Maharaj. And everybody stands up. He hasn't said a word. But just by seeing, they could understand that he was a great, exalted person. And then the different symptoms are given in the Bhagavatam. What were his bodily features that distinguished him? So yes, it's there. An expert can see just by seeing the face. They can see it, and even an ordinary person. I was saying that even an ordinary, you and I, we can look and we can see this person must have performed sinful activities. And that this person looks like a truck driver. This person looks like an intellectual. And if I put 20 pictures in front of you, you could probably make an educated guess. Who's the truck driver and who's the writer, and so on. From the hands, one can see. Then that's a whole science. Then it's not just the lines on the palm. What your fingers are like. Are they long? Are they short? Are they, clunky? Are they fine? You can tell. And by the face also. But then, of course, there's so many people who just as a business claim to know all these things, and they don't. In every field, there are Vaidyas, doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, who don't know beans. They're terrible, but they claim to be Vaidyas. There are people who claim to be astrologers, and they're way off. They don't know their astrology. They just make a show. They're inept. And there may be those also right around the corner from us in where is that? Yeah, in Brooklyn. You turn onto Nevin Street, and there's somebody who's got a sign, psychic reader. So how good is she for you to read your past and present and future? Maybe she's brilliant, but my guess would be she probably doesn't know up from down. But it's business. So again, there may be those who can from the face, they can see so much. There's a friend, at the moment I'm at I'm staying with Keshav Bharati Maharaj here in England. And when we were together in Bombay, he had a friend who was an astrologer. And they were talking. Astrologer would visit the temple from time to time. He had a friendly relationship with Keshav Bharati Maharaj. And they were talking, I came in one day, and he said, your birthday is soon. And it was like days before my birthday.
Mm.
And then he said so many things about me that were, although he was an astrologer, without reading the chart, just by seeing so many things he said that were correct. So different people have these capabilities just by seeing. They may be able to know so many things. And then there's so many other people, they're just business and they don't know anything. So caveat emptor, let the buyer beware.
Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj was a great astrologer also.
Yes, but my point wasn't that this man was a great astrologer, but just by seeing. He didn't cast a horoscope, no kundali, nothing. Just your birthday is soon, and then you're like this, you're like this, you're like this. So it's possible, but cheating is also widespread.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Murari Gupta Das writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, reincarnation is such a fundamental concept that that is timeless, and at one time Vedic culture extended over the whole world. So did other traditions deliberately exclude it for different reasons? It doesn't seem like something that would just be forgotten.
Well, Vedic culture extended all over the world, but not everywhere in the world was equally cultured. Britain has possessions, more all over the world, but not everyone was British standard in their culture, in their capability, in their understanding, in the way they did things. Some were better than the British, although the British didn't want to admit it. And others were, practically savages. So it's not that because one king rules the world, everyone is equally enlightened, equally cultured, or that every place is equally enlightened and equally cultured. So that's one thing. Another thing is that, yes, in some places it was. Another thing is that it's also found in many cultures of the world, even those not directly informed by Vedic literature, have a concept of reincarnation. And in some cases, it was deliberately excluded. The Catholic Church, at different historical points, condemned reincarnation as being a heretical teaching. The notion that Jayādvaita, by the way, was excommunicated or burned at the stake is because of his belief in reincarnation appears untrue, although often cited. But there was a deliberate teaching in the church that no reincarnation is a wrong teaching. Hare Krishna.
Venkatesh writes, one school friend of mine would present contradictory proverbs. Example, the face is the index of the mind, contradicts, all the glitters is not gold.
Yeah, so that's the expert has to take that into account. He has to, therefore, Vyasdev.
Hmm.
It appears that he's ugly, must have had a sinful background. He could never be a sage, and he's the compiler of all the Vedic literature. So, so an expert person knows how to weigh all the different possibilities, all the different indications. Therefore, that's the expert astrologer. It's not just that he looks and sees and says, okay, this is it, but he can see the different indications going in different ways. Okay, normally this would be this, but in this case, it's not. It's something else. There's a very famous story among the astrologers of a guru, astrological guru, was approached by the king about the marriage of his daughter, and would such and such boy be a suitable match? And the king, the astrologer, looked at the horoscope and gave it to his students. What do you say? The students looked at it and they all agreed this is like a match made in heaven. Everything lines up, and it's perfect. Then the guru took back the horoscope and threw it aside and told the king, don't do it. So the king respected the astrologer. The marriage was not arranged. And like within a day or so, the prospective groom fell off his horse and died. So then, okay, how did the guru know this? Everyone was astonished. His students were astonished. Everything in the Kundali indicated that it was a perfect match. How did you toss it aside? He said, no, at the time that the question was asked, I heard a jackal howling in the distance. So I knew. So this is expertise. That even when it all looks perfect, just like an expert businessman, everything lines up. But he knows this guy's a cheater. Or he knows this is going to fall apart. When everybody else looks at it and says, put your money here, he looks at it and says, mm-mm. Because the real expert knows, yes, by conventional wisdom, by all the indications, but what is that? Sri Ratnam Dushkaladapi. The Chanakya Pandit says, if you see gold in a filthy place, pick it up. If you see wisdom coming from a person who appears disqualified to low birth, then take it. If a girl, if she's a jewel, it doesn't matter that she's from a low family. So an expert can see. Prabhupada, there was some devotee who was just fixing cars in the Los Angeles parking lot. Prabhupada made him a GBC man. And for many years, he was like the chief manager in North America. So an expert person can see, not just from one point of view or one indication, they can see the whole picture. This is expertise. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. We are coming at the end, and I would like to request Venkatesh Prabhu for Kirtan.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Madhupati has a comment that when Duryodhana was born, all the evil and inauspicious signs were present, and the expert Vidura advised Gandhari to abort the child. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes, Venkatesh.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasarite Nirvishesha Shuddhavani Pashatyana Satarite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavi Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Vishvat Bhagavad Jana Shri Srimad Yeshua Peda Shri Prabhupada Vijay Vishvat Bhagavad Jana Shri various Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Sri Prabhupada Vijay Dalita Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Baba Shari Hara Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sai Prabhu Krishna Padya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shiva Sri Ki Jai Shri Radha Shri Prabhu Pira Jam Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jagadav Sadam Ki Jai Radha Bhai Pradam Ki Jai Jagadav Pradam Ki Jai Jagavai Urvai Ki Jai Toshdevi Bhakti Ki Jai Sarveta Korvata Ki Jai All Devotee Swami 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 Shri Guru Shri Gaurav.
Thank you, Venkatesh Prabhu, for your nice kirtan. And thank you, Maharaj, for coming among us and giving your association. Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Mahesh Pandit Prabhu ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mahesh Pandit, and thank you to all. Hare Krishna.
And thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll see you next time. Hare Krishna.